what's the deal?
Yo, what's good, bro?
Boy, not the Pelicans coverage right now, huh? Look at my dog Ryan. What's happening with you, big dog?
What's good, fellas?
Oh man, so it ain't even no sense of pretending. What did you make of the comments today by our brother Stephen A. Smith?
So today is crazy because the the second show, like his
Yeah,
personal show, it's like, dog. So you gonna say all and now granted what he said about the organization, all was true. All was true, facts. But let's not act like you wouldn't legitimately teasing the dude. Like you could have had a way of going about whatever you was gonna say about Z and not try to like you was trying to be funny. You did. You was trying to be funny and attack the man. So the pal did what you do. Like you attack our guy, we attack you, and then you feeling some type of way about it. But he was right. What he said as far as like the shit about the organization, they suck. That's pretty. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. But I mean, I don't I don't know, bro. I think it's a whole lot about nothing. But the shit he said wasn't true. Like, but again, if you gonna criticize Zion for the times where he was fed, you also need to be just as loud when he was getting himself together. But you don't hear that part.
I think for me, I agree with you. I think it's much to do about nothing, honestly, because I've said worse about the organization. I've said way worse consistently about the organization. So I'm not like a person who's saying, well, that's over the line. I think with him, Stephen A. Smith is an entertainer, right? He's an entertainer that occasionally provides some analysis. So I view how he spoke about Zion from an entertainment standpoint. Did he personalize it a bit? Yes, absolutely, right? With the food under the bed and all this shit, the way it's just like we'll never know how much of this is true, right? Never know. And I don't think a lot of us really care how much of it is true.
I don't
To
think it mattered that much, to be honest.
Yeah, to me, like I don't really care. But the funny part to me is okay. The social media team responded. Now, something that people have to keep in mind, because people say, "Oh, he attacked us. He's mad at the social media team." It's like, no, the social media team represents the team. They're the spokesperson for the team. They're basically the avatar for the team. So this qualifies as an official statement from the team.
Facts.
So he's responding to the team. He's not responding to some intern. I think that's how people framing it. Like, oh, he's angry at an intern. It's like, no, he's responding directly to the team because the team wouldn't allow this to be posted had it not been,
Somebody had to approve, like,
right.
hey, we gonna send this out on behalf of the team, and it's like, all right, cool, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, it was Matt Ryan or Remo, one of them dudes. They approved it, right? Now, they probably didn't anticipate Stephen A's response because this is not the first time they tweeted that video. It's like the second time. So but his
I
response
remember the first time. I think it was like a couple years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
exactly right.
Hmm.
To me, the weird thing is with Stephen A, it's like that video does something to this man's spirit. Like I don't know if he felt played. I don't know if he felt more played now
Super triggered.
because now his celebrity has grown. So maybe he feel even more played now about it. But it's like, bro, they actually responded in a very respectful manner because they could have got down and dirty with you if they wanted to. Like it, you know that he realized he ain't got no wins in the situation because he keeps saying, "Oh, why didn't you talk about I couldn't read in the first grade. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, nigga?
Yeah,
That's irrelevant. Like that ain't got nothing to do with it. That's why I ain't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, bro. I think this whole thing is a circus. This whole
yeah,
shit is a
that
circus.
should have blew up. But you got Gil Arena talking about it, and you know what's crazy is like, bro, Z go do the interview on ESPN like the first time speaking like publicly in a while, And realistically, as much as, and I'm not saying that Z want to have no conversation with with Stephen A, but like if Stephen A really had so much to say, and all the time Stephen A be quick to be like, if somebody got an issue, they could just call me. It's like, dog, you ain't never think that you know this man was coming through. You could make it a point to maybe reach out to Z or something like that. Not saying that he have to or that he should or whatever, but like after the team responded or whatever, you don't think that your comments, because not one time did he address even when he, because when he was doing his talking today, he kept saying like this is not about the players, it's not about the players. It's like, well, hold the fuck on, this all started because you were telling like jokes about Z, right? Shit that went like all borderline a little too far, some shit that somebody probably slapped the piss out you if you said it to their face. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you ain't never think that maybe you needed to reach out to somebody or something like that and just be like, hey, bro, look, I know what I said might have been a little whatever, especially when he made the did the ESPN interview. That would have been legit. But for Z to go on your show because you the face or whatever and give y'all some publicity, and then the next day you come on and shit on him again, then it's kind of like, well, what the team supposed to do? Because that's the part that was kind of messed up to me on some like bro, I just did y'all show, and then
Right.
you gonna do that the next morning, but you mad at Brian for Brian coming on your show and shitting on you after.
I think, to me, I think I think Disney or ESPN rather dropped the ball in this particular situation. Now, to be fair, you got to be objective, right? Like a person, like, well, I'm talking about the members. Everybody on ESPN not going to agree. There has to be some objectivity, but Zion going on that show was essentially Zion and ESPN burying the hatchet because now this was the rumor. The rumor was when Zion did his initial sit down with ESPN, they was asking him some shit that he wasn't supposed to be asked. And since then, they was like, "Hey, we don't fuck with ESPN no more." That was the rumor. I don't know how true that is. So this is clearly some type of burying the hatchet PR thing by his new agency or what have you, right? And to me, it's like, you take it with a grain of salt. You take it with a grain of salt. My whole thing with the Stephen A shit is that it just wasn't funny. Like if it would have been funny,
It's
entertaining,
old now.
yeah,
Like it's
that's the
old
thing.
at
It's
this
old
point. It's his old
material.
material. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a motherfucker still telling Michael Jackson nose jokes. It's like, come on, bro. Like the joke is dated. It's time to move on. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I ain't really respect it. But I think I think Stephen A did it so I think Stephen A. more so just content engagement farming. Not that he needs it, but I think that's what he was doing because what for you to do two shows about the same thing, and it's like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing here? This is for a team that you deem totally irrelevant, that you were more popular than the individuals on the team, sans Zion, which I agree with you, right? But for a team you deem to be totally irrelevant, you just did two shows about them. You giving them buku airtime on your national platform, on your YouTube platform, that's pretty much international. You clearly care a little bit, like, you know what I'm saying. You clearly bother to some degree, but I don't know, bro. I think one thing that needs to, like, if I'm playing devil's advocate, it's like, look, this is Stephen A's job. That's what he does, right? I don't think it's necessarily personal. I think he talk about any motherfucking body, and on the and the Pelicans do suck, but on the other end, I'm like, man, it get to the point where like motherfucker just tired of hearing these same narratives and same jokes. It's just super dated, like at this point, bro. And that's my whole thing with the situation. I see L had to drop down. If anybody else wants to speak, make sure y'all put y'all requests in. Um, man, I wanted to get some feedback from some of the people in the joint about what we've been seeing from Herb Jones recently. I think I was kind of on the we need to move on from Herb. I don't want to say bandwagon, but I was pretty much driving that train. Hold on, like L right there. This past off season, and people, of course, Herb's being the team favorite. Some people don't want to move on from him. People,
I'm
people.
still good, or you can't hear me?
I can hear
You
you
can hear
now.
me?
Yeah, you good.
All right, my bad.
Some people don't want to move on from them, and I'm like, bro, if we in a results oriented business, it gets to the point where we have to start looking at the results. Herb on the season, if I'm not mistaken, is averaging what 8-3-2, and you just gave this man a $20 million, 20+ per year $1 million extension. That's going to kick in about a year from what, maybe a year and a half from now.
He got 1 year left at the 14 mil, and then the 20 kick in. What do you say to the people who say he's got the best plus minus on the team?
I think people stupid. I mean, if I'm being honest, I think people stupid. I think people don't necessarily watch the game. They don't watch the context of what's happening, because a motherfucker like, and I hate to bring this person up, dog, because I don't mean no disrespect. Like Jose, for example, right? Shout out to Jose. People are like, man, all Jose does is win. He's a winner. It's like, well, he ain't win here. Bro, this is Jose's points per game. The last like fucking 6 games. Jose has scored 4 points, 3 points, 7 points, 5 points, 5 points, 8 points. It's like, bro, them dudes are just like
Role
situational
players.
role players, dog. Like, again, the problem with the Pelicans and Herb is you're in a position where you need Herb to be good, because you're paying him like a motherfucker that should be good, and he's viewed as a foundational piece, a core piece, and it's like
Let me
he
let me
go ahead.
interrupt you, dog, and ask this question. That right there, because it's two things that people say. Is one, he's a foundational piece. He's a core piece. He's an untouchable. And then you say, well, for 13 million that he's making, like, what are you supposed to expect? And it's like, well, hold on now. If you gonna say he's the a core piece, a untouchable, and all of that, and he's the reason behind these wins and losses and whatnot, don't come back and say, well, he's only making 13 million and we shouldn't be discussing him like the number one option. Like, if he's not the number one option, then treat that motherfucker like a role player. I don't understand.
My thing, bro, is soon as you get paid, it's all on you. All that shit is cute when you're on a rookie scale contract, when you're not really, getting paid like that. You know what I'm saying? You making $2-3 million, whatever. It ain't your responsibility. You just here to chip in. Soon as you getting the big bucks, now it's on you. Now you a part of the solution or you a part of the problem. It's one of the two. You feel me? Like, and I don't give a fuck what's going on. You can't keep having more fouls than points. There's no way to explain that away. Like, a motherfucker would have to be out of their mind. Like, like you can't be totally ignored on the offensive end. You would have, and if we keeping it a cool dollar, this 2 years in a row where the defense ain't really been looking good. So now I'm having to ask, what do you do? Like, how are you a positive?
The argument is that the defense is so good that is the defense is so good that the net rating is saying, hey, it's overcoming how bad the offense is because he's got the highest net rating on the floor
that
of
that's
anybody on the team.
that's the dumbest shit ever, too, bro. Because how the fuck? I'm just like, this is just asinine, right? It's like people just act like motherfuckers don't got eyes. Like, I ain't just see Cam Thomas drop 20 plus, Kevin Porter Jr. dropped 20 plus, Luca did what he did. Just a bunch of random motherfuckers. What's that dude? Is it not Nimhard? Ryan Rollins, I think that's his name, in Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, from
Yeah, I ain't see Devin Booker score 50 points 2-3 games in a row. I like, man, get out of here. Like, people crazy, dog. Like, that's why, like, I just I don't like the politics that go behind covering a team, because ultimately it's like, all right, when we win, it's because of her. Herb could have 4 points, 3 rebounds, and motherfucker just got 2 steals in the fourth quarter. Like, oh man, his defense really sealed the deal. And it's like, all right, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Whatever. Team win, whatever. But when we lose, it's oh my God, come on, man. It's year 7. We need to blow this up. This guy here, Trey got to get stronger. Zion got to use his right hand.
Hmm.
This front office built a terrible team, and it's like, do you realize the team that you calling terrible? Herb plays for that team, motherfucker. Like, what are you talking? What are you talking about? Like, I don't know, bro. And of
Yeah,
course, you don't win or lose because of Herb. Like, it ain't Herb's fault individually.
shit. It's her fault individually. I don't care what nobody say. That's why I'm at. That's why I'm at, dog. This is Herb team. This is that Herb, the leader of the team. Herb, the leader of the defense. Don't nobody. They don't nothing matter with or without Herb. So that's why I'm at Herb. I'm of the mindset now where we need to be discussing Herb, but treating Herb like motherfucking Z, because you on like, even when they talk about the win loss or whatever, the win loss when Herb plays and whatnot, I'm like, so who else is
bro,
on the court
bro,
when
that
they
is the
playing?
worst stat ever, dog. But go ahead, my bad. That is
Yeah,
the worst
no,
stat.
you good, because that's my point. It's like, all right, in the games that Herb play, like, is Zion not on the court in those games? Is Trey not on the court in those games? Is Sadiq Bey not on the court in those games? Like, is Fears not on the court in those games? Like, how is it a direct impact of Herb? And that's not to say that Herb being available don't help. Shit, everybody being available help. But I guarantee you, if you spend most of this season without Z, or you spend most of this, like, they got almost as many wins this year as they had as last year, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like, last year they had 21 wins total. Right now they should get more than 21 wins. You don't know, but they should,
Yeah, you
right?
don't know. Yeah.
As bad as they are, it just goes to show they got more people available. That's what happens when you have more people available to play. Everybody should be a little bit better. So, like, the part where I'm just like, well, fuck it then. If Herb is the reason, then let's hold Herb accountable to what it is y'all saying he the reason for. If not, let's treat that motherfucker like a role player and put him on the bench so we could start a center. You can't be going into games with no center. And you can't bench Sadiq Bey right now because he's playing significantly better. Or if he wasn't playing that much better, you wouldn't have no problem benching Sadiq Bey. So what are we doing here?
That's why I think people lying on the cool side, because like on one hand you'll see, oh, Borrego's, he's forced to play Fears and Queen. He got directives from the front office, and it's like, you don't think Joe Dumars see Herb out there dropping 2 fucking points? You don't think Joe Dumars out there seeing Herb getting killed, defensively and being ignored on offense? It's just people talking out of both sides of their mouth. You know what I'm saying? And to
Bro,
me,
when the season started, I'm sorry, I
no, go
hate to
ahead.
keep doing this. When the season started, though, the first shout out to you, Joe. But when the season first started, game one, Ja Morant off a motherfucking no training camp, no off season, no nothing, right? Cool 33 points and a victory. Okay, that's not on Herb. You got one job. You got to stop that dude. Couldn't do it. All right, cool. Game two against the Spurs, two seed Spurs, right? Bruh, Herb was what offensively in that game? What, 0 for 8, 0 for 9, 1 for whatever. We should have seen this coming. But and it's been consistent throughout the season. So from game one, the defense, in my opinion, been shaky. The offense been awful. But all I keep hearing is that this team is spectacular because of Herb Jones. Not spectacular, I'm sorry, because they awful. But, like, whatever whatever good they are is because of Herb. Like, it really bothers me, dog. And especially when we criticizing Z, who trying to do everything he can. This motherfucker gotta go for 30. For them to have chances, gotta go for 38 and 8. But we ain't holding Herb accountable to getting 10.
Look, and I think, yo, Jones, send another request if you can, bro. I think Like I think everybody's responsible, right? I think certainly, well, I'm not gonna say everybody. The people who getting paid the big money, they the most responsible to me, right? Especially Zion being the main one. But it's like, come on, bro, with the Herb shit. Like when I saw that starting lineup last night, and I had little to no doubt that that was going to be the starting lineup.
I said I knew it too. I was disgusted.
It's kind of insulting to a degree because it's like, so you telling me it don't matter who come around this bitch. It don't matter if you could have. I'm trying to just use somebody who's starting caliber. You could have Walker Kessler today. You just wouldn't start him. Like that's what you're saying. Because under no circumstance would you take Herb out the starting lineup, even if he has little to no effect on the game. Like to me, that's mind blowing for a head coach to think that way.
Here's my question for a team that's having so much flexibility with the lineup, and I knew this was gonna happen. That like I said, and obviously you knew it too because you knew once they got healthy, you had to figure out what the start lineup was gonna be. But DeAndre Jordan starting, what were they with DeAndre Jordan starting before 3-1? They were 3-1 in the games DeAndre Jordan had started. They lost yesterday. That one on count. I think the first one was the loss against the Clippers where he started and they took a L. But you 3-1 in the games DeAndre Jordan
And
started. You
wait, and the Denver game when he started against Jokic.
well, yeah, I meant like since All Star break,
Oh yeah,
Dejounte
since they've
being
been
back and
healthy,
all.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, since they've been quote unquote healthy, you know what I mean. You was 3-1 in those games with Dejounte, and you looked like a significant, not better, but you looked like you found a little rhythm like, oh, this team absolutely need a center on the court to play, right? Like you're better with a center. And against a team that plays a center and you already struggle against, you just gonna go with the super small lineup? Like, come on, dog.
It's like, bro, last night he lost the rebounding battle. DeAndre Ayton played terrible. DeAndre Ayton could have had 30 points last night. He was just terrible. And he still ended up with 10 and 8. Even Jackson Hayes gave you solid minutes. You didn't play Carlo whatsoever. You can't score. You can't shoot, so you don't play Jordan Poole whatsoever. There's no rhyme or reason to these rotations. It just don't make any sense to me. Like even if you think, for example, let's say you think Jordan Poole the worst player in the world, right? That's your perspective. The fact that you're struggling to score consistently, you have no real threats from beyond the arc, and one of the guys that's in your starting unit, the defense ignores him, and he's averaging 8 points on the season. He gave you 2 points last night. He got to be shooting in the 20s from beyond the arc right now. And you still playing politics and favoritism? I think a lot of the lack of Herb criticism has to do with really not wanting to criticize Borrego. Because, like, for example, and I'll pass it to Jones here. Let's say Poole does something crazy, Zion does something crazy, Trey does something crazy. A motherfucker will point to that and say, yo, this is why we lost, because they did something crazy. Okay, cool, fair enough. Herb could play off, and it's a fucking mystery why we lost. Motherfucker be like, oh, I ain't really see the game, man. This team got to get it together. We don't have a pick this year. Like, no, wait a minute. You don't want to get into why we lost? Like, oh, Herb missed some shots, but nobody else really shot well either. It's like, no. Let's talk about everybody. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? But yo, Jones, what's happening with you, bro?
Hey, it was good, man. I hope all is well on your end.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, indeed, brother. Likewise.
no, I just wanted to put in my 2 cents on Herb and a few other things because with Herb, one of the things that's hard to deal with. Nobody really know what defense is in the NBA, right? They don't know how to talk about it. They don't know what it looks like. They don't know when a guy's supposed to be helping, when he's not supposed to be helping. They don't know when he's actually doing his job, when he's not doing his job, when he misses assignments. So it's just much easier to talk about other people because, I mean, let's face it, you, it doesn't have to get complicated. You're either a two-way player or a one-way player. That's it. There's no three-way anything, right? Either two-way or one-way. We all know Hurt's not a two-way, right? Because he's just not. Just because you score a point doesn't mean you're that's you, right? So he's a one-way player, and he's one way, and what he got paid for is the defense. So he's a one-way player who doesn't have offense. So when it comes time to blame him, they already don't know what to say about defense because they can't call it out. And then on the offensive side, you already know you don't expect that from her. So nobody's expecting her to come up with 15 points, 17 points, because then you would have to call him a two-way player, and ain't nobody fucking calling him that. So, so he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's doing exactly what he gets paid to do. And the problem is, you paid him, and now you realize, oh shit, what I really need is a two-way player, not a one-way. So the blame got to go to somebody, and who's going to come forward in this organization? Who going to come forward on the airline and say that they to blame for picking up a player, for developing a player that's just a one-way player, and then paying him like you expected him to be a two-way. He's not a two-way. He's not turning into a two-way. You don't say things like he has more fouls than points and then say he's turning into a two-way player, right? That's just the way it is. It's not a lie. That's literally what's fucking happening. So at the end of the day, now you got to say, do I keep this player or not? And nobody wants to trade Herb because Herb didn't do anything wrong. He's just playing to his maximum, right? He's just playing to his potential right now. Maybe on another team, they can get some more offense out of him, but on this one, it's obvious you can't. So, like, this is a problem with a lot of the team. We're playing a lot of people that honestly, they're not good fits for the team. I'm sorry, we don't score enough points to win. Why the fuck are you telling me about pluses and minuses? Can I get more than 4 points? We needed 8 to win. You came up with 4. Fuck your plus and minus. Your defense didn't come up with more points. You didn't magically come up in a way to where we got enough points to win. It's not equating to wins. It's not equating to you doing what we need to do on the offensive side of the ball. Like, these days, you just gotta. It's not an attack on Herb. It's just, hey, he's not the player we need. We need to trade him and go get another player that is a better fit for us. That's it. And it's not everybody wants to make this shit so emotional and like we don't like people. We hate doing this stuff. We can't stand the team. We despise the city. No, motherfucker, we tired of losing. And some of the pieces don't fit, right? That's just it. Look, I can do the same thing with Zion. I don't have, ultimately, I don't have a problem with Zion. I do have a problem with his lack of professionalism over the last few years. It was terrible. But today, he's lost weight. He's doing what he can do to the best of his ability, right? And he's trying to score points and he's trying to win games for us. That's the truth. That's not we hate him or we love him. That is what it is. But if you take Zion's points that he gives us and you get that from another player who has a mid range, who has a post up game, who's able to help and get more rebounds, who are able to help with offensively, like more assists, you get a different product on the court. You get a different product with the team that you got. We've gone through like 4 or 5 coaches now who aren't able to figure out the Zion puzzle and how to make him really effective with the weapons that we have, right? And we don't know how to make him consistent, which is another thing across the board, right? How can you make these people consistent? When Herb scores 13 points, that doesn't mean that suddenly he's a two-way player because he's going to score 2 the next. That's a lack of inconsistency. That's not what we need. That's not what we talk about. That's not how you become a two-way player. Zion's the same way. Zion's 26 is not necessarily the 26 we need. It may come up and just run into the lane. It may come up with just lefts. It may come up with, in order for him to get to these, right, to get to these points, it took an obscene amount of misses. It may have taken the defense not really playing the way we wanted to play. There's all kinds of things on why some of these pieces aren't very good fits. So ultimately, is it the coach's fault? No, it's front office, right? But every coach can maximize talent to a certain extent. And You're never going to have a perfect scenario. So it's not like, oh, because the front office got some pieces that aren't great fits, suddenly Borrego's a really good coach. That's not how that works either. So stop doing that, right? He can be a bad coach and we could have a bad front office. Two things can be fucking true at the same time. The world doesn't evolve around first take. It don't have to be a left or a right. These are the type of things that I try to avoid the conversations often because everybody wants to go down these rabbit holes of, well, maybe it's this scenario, or there's always a possibility there's this. Or, man, come on. It's not, is there a possibility this could ever happen? Is in general, greater than not, is this what's currently happening? They're not a good fit. He's not going to get the 19 points in offense while having his defense. Our defense doesn't look like an elite squad today. Like, some people need to get traded. That's just the way it is. The offseason's coming up, and we already know if you're screaming at the middle of the season that these players are untouchable, you're probably going to be screaming in offseason certain players are untouchable. And that's the problem. You're not in any position to ever call any of your players untouchable. And I even think there's some untouchable players on the team, but we're just not in a position to say everybody's untouchable. That's it, right? Until you get your fit right, until you get a direction right, until you get your coach in that can come after you get your direction and what you actually want to do, then you can start talking about these are my core players. These are the players that are untouchable. This is why they're untouchable, because they bring this level of consistency, right? And then go on from there. And that's it. It don't have to be so complicated, right? There's a lot of parts that is very complicated, but the general, just overall outlook of the team and where we at and who needs to stay, who needs to go. I mean, damn, how many seasons do you have to waste before you say maybe they're not a good fit? Maybe we just can't get the right personnel in to New Orleans to make them a perfect fit or to make them a good fit or to maximize their potential. That's it.
No, Jones, I wanted to ask you because I've heard Alvin's perspective on this, and I think I've given mine ad nauseum. How would you evaluate James Borrego since he's taken over?
Ah, there's two ways to evaluate him. You evaluate him as what he's done in a silo, and then you evaluate him against the field, right? He's an interim head coach, and I've said this before. I forgot where. As an interim head coach, that tells you initially that you. Well, no, I'm not saying to be funny. As an interim head coach, they're under a different scrutiny than somebody that we hire as a new coach, right? The interim isn't actually voted in by anybody. The interim is there to try to do better than what they what everybody expects so that he or she can actually get a contract. A new head coach has leeway. The interim doesn't have any leeway. So right or wrong, Borrego is under the scrutiny that's higher than normal because he's an interim and he has to do more than the average to show that he can be the coach and get a 4-year contract because he wasn't voted in by Dumars and others. I don't think he's done enough to show that he's above average, and I don't think he's done enough with this team to show that he's above average. It'd be silly for me to say that because the record doesn't indicate it, right? Because at the end of the day, everybody's graded against their record. And then when you take a look at, do they have good chemistry? Do they like the coach? Those things are yes. And then you could say, hey, is he better than Willie Green? Yes. But to what extent does that matter? Why would you compare him to Willie Green when you fired Willie Green? Why wouldn't you compare him to a successful coach and then say, hey, is he as good as one of these successful coaches? And I've yet to see anybody compare him to any of the successful coaches. So that automatically tells me you don't want to compare him to a successful coach. You want to compare him to a failure and not look at him as he's an interim coach, but look at him as he's a brand new coach who just got hired on and just got accepted by Joe Dumars and everybody on down, which is not the case,
You
right?
know, I'm sorry to cut you off. I just want to add this as well, Jones. I agree with everything you said. I think some people are under the illusion that this was like a meritocracy. They was like, oh well, he's earned the right to get another head coaching job. It's like, mind you, this man is interviewed for several head coaching jobs. He must got the best agent in the business. And look, I used to say this like to be funny, but like seriously, there's a reason this man never got hired nowhere. I don't even think he was ever really in the running for any of these jobs, to be honest.
The New York one,
Oh
not
yeah,
for
not
the head
oh yeah, I
coach,
just meant head
right?
coach, like for
Okay,
head
yeah, yeah,
for head coach specifically, right? And
yeah.
the reason why I know for me the reason I never cut him no slack is because he was playing so many like this dirty politics behind the scenes. Like he really campaigned hard to get Willie Green up out of here, and ultimately it worked out for him, right? But
Right.
now you in charge. You had 70 games at your disposal. It's a lot of fucking games, and it's just interesting to me how he's graded on the curve.
I don't understand what part of that. Well, two things, right?
Mm-hmm.
One is they don't want they don't want to come off like they're too harsh on this guy, and then the second one is they say I've heard a lot of people say, oh well, he's playing a lot of rookies, so you got to cut him some slack. No, that's not true. You still like I can't stand that. You grade people on what they have and what they're supposed to do. He's playing them, and I don't think he's doing a terrible job of playing them, but I just don't think that in certain cases, I'm not 100% comfortable with everything that he's doing, but I'm trying to be fair, right? I don't think Queen should play center, but I'm not going to hold that against him for trying. I think for him trying to play center, Queen's been okay. Uh, I think Queen's defense is questionable, and I don't see that improving in any way. But defense is hard, right? It's very, very hard. So I'm cutting them leeway on that. For fears, like for me, I want to go into the season. You starting off, you may not know what you're trying to do, but you should have a list of check boxes on what you have to do for your role. If you believe you need to score points more than you need to get out there and get assists for us to make the whole team work as a collective, that's a failure above fears. That's not a rookie thing, right? And for you to consistently keep doing that and keep doing that and not looking for the assist when we need you to have assists. It's great that you can score and we're going to need you to score, but these guys need to get assists. They need to get put in places. And it's hard for a rookie to learn how to do all that in his rookie year, right? Because you're just asking for a lot from a rookie. But still, there's assists all over the board because nobody fucking passes. so it's like rebounds, right? It's like if Fear comes up with non-rebounds like he's Russell Westbrook, I'm not shocked because nobody else is fucking jumping up to go get the ball. Like so
That was my biggest issue, Borrego, with the rookies. It's like the one thing that worried me from the onset is just like, bro, I feel like you're helping to install a lot of bad habits because it's
yes.
just too much get it how you live on the court. Whereas we're X amount of games into the season. I think Stephen A. Smith said what 65 games to the season, and
Mm.
I still have no idea how the Pelicans will play night to night. I have no idea aside from the Sadiq Bey post up. I have no idea what our bread and butter is. I rarely see our best two players in the action. The rotations are just your guess is as good as mine. Like it's just nothing makes any sense at all from a night to night basis. Even before DeJounte came back, it was just like, where's the consistency just in the decision making? And Joe, and look,
Hey,
I'm sure you can appreciate this, bro. There've been several games where where Borrego has forfeited the third time out because I think it went under the 3 minute mark. Well, I'm like, bro, Casey Hill, who's been here since Stan Van Gundy, is not telling you time and situation. You don't know you have another timeout. What are you doing?
yeah. I see. We're seeing a lot more of the problems we had with Willie Green. So that's why I don't understand how new people are jumping on board the Borrego bandwagon. Weren't y'all complaining about the timeouts not being used? Weren't y'all complaining about the ATOs not getting better, not being better? Like, or I'm looking at the end of the fourth quarter. You don't have a direction, right? I'll say first through third, you figure it out, you do what you got to do, which isn't right, but I'll just give that. I'll give you three fucking quarters. Why in the fourth everybody looks so fucking lost? right? Why you have people running into each other down in the paint? That doesn't make any sense to me. You don't have a good game plan. I asked for a tactician. I said I wanted to go from Willie Green to somebody who understands basketball, who's a tactician, who understands plays, and and then we'll have a point guard who is an extension of the tactician on the sideline. I how am I going to ask any one of our point guards to be an extension of somebody who's not good with X's and O's? Like, look, here's another prime example. Don't go in front of the cameras and tell me how you've been paying attention to Carlo. You see that he's broken through somehow. He's gotten over whatever he had to get over, and his last few games have been really consistent and really helped us. And then in the game when we play somebody like Ayrton, who's so fucking soft that Monty Williams calls him basically a pussy, you don't even play Carlo? Ayrton, who don't want to get physical, who don't want to run, who's trying to get the easy buckets whenever he can, who don't really want to rebound unless he's by himself. You don't play the guy who's on a heater right now against him. Instead, you don't just not play a center who's on a heater. You play fucking small ball against him. What is that? Like, I don't understand. Like, tell me what your game plan is, because that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it's just that's what I say, man. It's really just a total just lack of consistency across the board. Alvin, what you got, big dog?
Bro, Jones made a great point, and I just want to re-emphasize it when he was talking about the comparison of James Borrego to Willie Green. And it's like, well, why are you comparing him to Willie Green and not comparing him to other good coaches?
Like Will Hardy?
Because or it just is multiples. So like an example of that would be is like, yeah, they look better. But again, I like to go with the major pain where it was like you're still a shit sandwich. You're just not a soggy one. You know what I'm saying? It's like they look better, but they're still awful. So like when we was talking about comparing like Borrego to other coaches, it's like, so what game we go into, right? Let's project moving forward. And obviously the roster got issues, but let's project moving forward. If if you got us against the Spurs, do you give Borrego the coaching advantage against the Spurs? Right?
Not the coaching advantage. Well, I don't think the Spurs coach
No,
is
I'm
good.
talking strictly about the coaching. Like, right?
Oh,
You don't know if you give Borrego the
probably not.
coaching advantage against the Spurs,
Probably not.
against the Jazz, probably not.
Hell no.
OKC, probably not. Dallas with J Kid, probably not. T. Lue, probably not. Minnesota, probably not. Denver, probably not. Like, run down the list of teams that you'll have to see consistently in the West, and just ask me, like, and just ask yourself, do you give him a benefit of the coaching advantage? Because that was one of the main things with Willie Green was like, well, you don't have a coaching advantage against most matchups. Like Steve Kerr, no. Like what, like, and that's bottom teams. And then think about the teams that are on the come up, right? Portland don't really have a coach, so you got to see. Sacramento, okay, maybe. Memphis, maybe, but Memphis coach has proven to be better so far. Like, I just can't think of, when you think about the Western Conference moving forward. Yes, you need some roster stuff, of course, but you could still see coaching even with bad rosters, right? In this roster, I don't want to say the roster is not bad, but I also feel like you're not fully maximizing. So when he's like, who are you comparing it to? And it's like, well, Willie Green was probably a bottom five coach. So yeah, like, yeah, you better than him, but how much better? Not that much better, but that's just my point. Like Jones made that point, and I was like, man, that's a great point that nobody has ever emphasized. That like, who are you comparing James Borrego to? What is the expectation? Because like, what is it Mike Brown? Like it's like, who are we comparing James Borrego to say he's a good coach, or who is he better than?
You know,
Who is he better than?
I'm gonna pass it to Jones, and and this is just in my personal opinion, bro. I feel like if Willie Green was a better people person, I feel like Borrego will be more of an afterthought. I'm gonna leave it there. I think if people like Willie Green more on a personal level, I think Borrego will be more of an afterthought because it's hard to quantify what he really does better. Go ahead, James Jones. My bad, dog.
No, I gotta go. But one final thing I'll say. You know what else plays a factor into the discussion on Borrego versus the field that nobody talks about? Borrego versus the field isn't Borrego versus the all the current head coaches in the NBA. It's Borrego versus a field on all the assistant coaches in the NBA and all the head coaches basically in college. And now you got to ask yourself, how many people actually scout assistants in the NBA and head coaches in college enough to have an actual, like, bona fide, like, real, honest to God NBA technical opinion on who's very good with X's and O's and who's not? And then if you want to add in additional, you could look at the European coaches and see if you want to get one from there or from, like, from like the one of those teams. But in general, that conversation, if we being honest, that's a very small pool of people who actually know that much basketball and are paying that much attention to say, hey, Borrego is not as good as these six guys in the college realm and these 8 guys in the NBA realm.
I think
Very good point.
I think it makes another excellent point, L, and I'll pass it to you because we spoke about this before when the Bucks beat OKC. We were speaking about Darvin Ham, and it's like, man, people just when the rumor about Darvin Ham and Kevin Ollie, it just infuriates people to no end. And I'm like, well, Darvin Ham has a better coaching record than James Borrego, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and Kevin Ollie, he was an interim when Jacques Vaughn was fired in Brooklyn, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not advocating for either one of those guys. I'm just saying that what you're witnessing right now, it's just a litany of mistakes being made here. Again, failure to maximize your two most talented guys. Rotations are still a question. Game management is a question. Just general decision making across the board is still questionable. Go ahead, John.
Hey, I want to add one extra thing. I made a mistake. I didn't add in WNBA
Mm.
because I do believe Becky Hammond
Mm-hmm.
is a better coach, would be a better coach for us than Borrego. Not only is she a better technical mind, but she also would come in at a price point that matches the cheapness that our owner is used to spending for coaches. Because she's the second highest paid coach in the WNBA with 3 championships.
Mm. No.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Bro, when I did the episode in the offseason, I mentioned Becky Hammond as like somebody I consider for this job. Her and Dawn Staley, as we talking about, like female coaches and stuff like that. Not saying that either one of them will take this job, but
That's a good
you
point.
could absolutely make a case that Becky Hammond, under the tutelage of Popovich as well as Borrego, wouldn't come in and command, that Hall of Fame level respect that I more recently was with Pop. I have more recent coaching success dominating the WNBA. Like if she decided to make the jump, I would give it, true consideration.
To me,
I'm not saying the Pelicans are willing to, do something like that, but I wouldn't frown at it either.
Willie Green was making, I want to say, around $1 million more every year than what she's making today at her highest paid. So even if we paid her what Willie Green was getting paid, we overpaying her, or we paying her more than what she's currently making in the W. So before you say anything else, she's also going to come with the respect of her just being a woman and somebody who has Pop's ear for assistance.
I think that's one of the things that has always been an issue because I kind of view coaches similar to how I view like talent. When you talk about the Cam Thomases, you talk about Ben Matherins and guys like that, Kamingas. I'm not saying for me, I always say I'm not saying they're the answer. You just have to get to a point where you're acquiring talent because you're very talent poor and being in New Orleans, just keeping it real, it's gonna come with either you paying a New Orleans tax to get people to come here, or some people won't even grant you an interview. Players, I mean, like some players, unless they're desperate and say, "Well, they're gonna give me a contract, I'll go there." But other than that, this is just not. Irregardless of the team's success, for some reason this market just isn't appealing to a lot of young players who not necessarily. That's why Griff had a philosophy with drafting, getting like European guys or Australian guys or guys from the South, people who will be a little more comfortable in the region. Whereas you might get a West Coast dude or a brother from the East Coast. They like, I ain't really feeling this. I ain't even trying to interview with you on the real. And that's another thing the Pelicans have to consider. Like for me, I always say there's only two ways the Pelicans are gonna find some talent. They either gonna draft it or they gonna trade for it. Because free agency, I don't give a fuck if the Pelicans had a max contract to offer. They're gonna be giving it to Tobias Harris or somebody like that. You're not even in the conversation and I ain't talking about for the first tier. You're not in the conversation for the second to middle of the second tier superstar. They couldn't give the max to Kyle Lowry. Like you feel me? They couldn't overpay Tim Hardaway. You know what I'm saying? Like they just Malik Monk told you no. So I think that's one of the things too when people talk about, oh, you traded for this person or they wasted the money on this person. It's like, look, you greatly overestimate the number of people that are actually willing to come play here via free agency. It might be better now with the CBA being what it is. They may change somewhat because there's only so many places to go. But I mean, this particular front office, while I don't think they were good at all this offseason, they got dealt a fucked up hand in certain situations. L, you had something?
Let me yeah, let me ask this. I kind of want look at Everett, man. Shout out Everett.
What up, L?
Shout out everybody for stepping into spaces too, man. Appreciate y'all.
Ivy, I
I
see you,
kind of
big dog.
wanted to I kind of wanted to go back a little bit and kind of re-examine the start lineup and the decisions and stuff like that, because this was again the first time a lot of emphasis was put on the fact that this was the first time the team was fully healthy in almost what 2 seasons or something like that. And a big thing was how was the like what was the start lineup, what would the rotations look like this was a great opportunity to really see what your team could look like, right, in the most opportune situation. So like what did you like what's your true opinion in like on like the starting lineup aside from just not benching Herb or whatever? Like, what do you think of the decision moving forward and like the rotations, not just the starting lineup, but like the rotation as well, because that's just as important as because sometimes it's not about who's starting, but it's also about the players that like Jordan Poole didn't play, Carlo didn't play. Like obviously Hawkins is not gonna play. PV ain't play. There's a bunch of players that didn't play. So I'm just wondering, like, what did you make of the starting lineup and the rotations when you finally had a fully healthy roster?
Well, I have two thoughts on it. Firstly, I'm tired of the Pelicans in particular leaning on the health aspect because look, it's never going to be an ideal situation. You had this season most of the guys that you should need to win at least at a somewhat respectable level. I'm not saying you was going to win 50 games, but you should have at least over 20 wins right now, and that's not asking a lot whatsoever. So the fact that you need a perfect situation, that speaks to Borrego's lack of competency in my opinion. But also I feel like the rotations just didn't make any sense. Like, first of all, if we're just talking about skill sets, like I just didn't understand it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't understand it. There's no hierarchy. It's too many high usage guys. And really, you don't the some of the play styles don't necessarily complement one another. I like Sadiq Bey a lot, but Sadiq Bey's percentages in the post isn't high. So I don't know why people feel like that's some type of bread and butter. Like that's not a efficient shot. That hasn't been a very efficient shot this season for the Pelicans. right? Also, you got to take into consideration when you got guys like Zion or like Poole or like Trey who need to get a maybe a shot or two, find their rhythm, and then that wakes them up. When you're not creating situations for those guys to get going, you're putting yourself behind the eight ball. Because by the time they finally you can't go 5 minute stretches without Zion shooting the ball. That happened last night. That literally happened last night. Like you going 5 minute stretches. That's about what, maybe 10 minutes in real time, maybe. Then you talk about these wasted possessions where you got all these turnovers. Everybody think it's their turn. Like you don't see no actions between Zion and Trey. Then you had you had the pick and roll that was incredibly effective with Zion and DeJounte Murray. DeJounte made like 3 great passes in a row. You go away from that. You don't really see the ghost string at the top of the key with Trey and Zion anymore. Herb is just on the wing, just chilling for some reason instead of in the corner consistently. He's not cutting as much as he used to cut. It's just, what are we doing here? Like, it's just too much freedom, too much independence. Um, I don't understand the rotations whatsoever. I don't understand why in a tight game, if you only gonna play Queen like 14 minutes, you might as well just not put him in a game if it's a tight game, because you pretty much punting those possessions. Last night, the last couple of games, you go on a run with Herb off the court. Herb come back into the game, it's over. Like the shit pretty much over. You know what I'm saying? And it was several situations like that this season, bro. I just don't get it. We got Everett in the building, man. Everett, what's your thoughts on the season, brother, and how things have gone, and how would you evaluate the coaching staff, Everett?
I'm so glad you brought that up. First of all, what up,
What up
Chaz?
with your
Long
brother?
time. Alvin, what up, big dog?
Whoa, what's
Hey,
good,
bro.
bro?
Borrego is terrible, my guy. This motherfucker could be one of the. I ain't gonna say nothing crazy, but him and Willie Green about what and what. And people used to kill Willie Green, and for some fucking reason, they will just give Borrego a pass and talk about everybody and their grandma except for Borrego. I don't understand it, and I don't, bruh. It blows my mind. Like this man will watch a team go on a run for fucking a whole damn quarter and will not call a timeout, like to stop the run. I was like, is he ever gonna call a damn timeout? Like, not at all. It's the most crazy thing to me. And he'll wait, won't call a timeout. They'll have a foul to give or some shit, and he won't get his players back in the fucking game. I don't understand his logic with 90% of the shit that this man does on the sideline. And it blows my mind because if that was Willie Green, people would fucking destroy Willie Green and give all the players excuses. Now it's like they won't say nothing about Borrego, and I don't understand why.
Do you think Borrego potentially got dealt an unfair hand due to the roster construction, or do you feel like, man, well, hey, Willie
No, I
Green
don't get. I don't.
had the same issues?
No, no. I must say because he got dealt a better hand than Willie Green. Willie Green didn't have three of his star players for most of his time here. He got dealt a young Trey Murphy. Borrego done got a veteran Trey Murphy, an established Herb Jones who has some injury prone. I know how Chaz feel about Herb Jones right now. I get it, but he done got dealt a fucking a gift in Sadiq Bey. Like, come on, bruh. This man won't play Jordan Poole, which you knew who Jordan Poole was whenever you got him, and you still got two up and coming star rookies who are in everybody's top five on for both of them. So you got two of the best rookies in your class. You got a steal in Sadiq Bey. You got a healthy Zion who played more consecutive games than any other year that he's been in. You got a Trey Murphy who's absolutely killing it. And you telling me, and you got a center that can jump out the fucking gym and Eve Misi and fucking Carlo, and you can't put together lineups that make fucking sense. No, I don't give Borrego no fucking excuses. This man is he got a belt dealt a way better hand than Willie Green ever did, and he is fucking dog shit.
Everett, can I ask you something? What do you, and Elvin,
Yeah.
Elvin, feel free to answer as well. So let's say, for example, when the Pelicans play the Spurs and they beat a team like the Spurs, who one of the better teams in the league this year, at least on paper. But
Yep.
then they'll go lose multiple games to a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, missing both of their players. Now, when they beat the Spurs, people credit, this team's not. People say this team's not far away. Coaching staff did an excellent job. But when they lose to the Bucks, people will talk about how bad the roster construction is and how, maybe Borrego's been dealt the unfair hand. Is the truth somewhere in the middle, or do you think it all depends on which side of the argument you fall on?
It's the same exact thing that when the Pelicans used to lose with Willie Green, everything was Willie Green's fault. When the Pelicans win, oh, they won despite Willie Green. So now it's just the other side. You know what I mean? Is they don't want to criticize him, so they just fucking scapegoat him on everything. And I really do think this man is trash. He didn't win when he was in Charlotte. So why the hell do we think he's gonna win here? He's never been a good head coach. You know what it reminds me of, Chaz and Allen? It reminds me of Dennis Allen. Everybody, Dennis Allen was a trash ass coach everywhere he been, and for some reason, people was like, "Oh yeah, Dennis Allen is going to be the one." Why? He's never been good. So, what evidence has anybody ever seen of Borrego being good? I'm just looking for. Oh, he has Charlotte playing solid. Was Charlotte playing solid despite him or because of him?
Oh, look, Everett, y'all got Everett pissed off. Look,
Hmm.
look.
That's a great point. Everett made a couple great
Go
points.
ahead, speak on it, Allen.
Well, no, it's just a couple things that like the detail, like man, it's so nice to be back in these spaces and stuff too. But like, there's a couple points that a couple people made that like the nuance of the game, like that just. And I again, we talk about Borrego a lot, so I don't want to continue on with. I'm not saying I don't want to continue on Borrego, but like it's to me the decision should damn near be made because one, the issues you had with Willie Green, like Ever said so eloquently, and like Jones said, with like you might be a little bit better, but you're not that much better than Willie Green first. The one thing you were supposed to be good at was the offense, right? Like you're supposed to have the offense. To Chaz's point, we still don't have an offensive identity. Brandon Ingram said when they played the other game, who was that they played the other day? Was it the Knicks? I think it was
Yeah,
the
yeah, they
Knicks or
lost to the
something
Knicks
like that.
last night, I think.
They lost to the Knicks. Brandon Ingram in his interview said, "Yeah, the game is going cool, but then in the fourth quarter, teams know exactly what they're going to, and they just run it over and over and over, and we just still trying to figure it out." You
Talk
see
about
that
it.
you see that repeatedly throughout the games. We don't have no like go-to sets for nothing. We still can't crack the zone. And people like, well, you need shooting to crack the zone. And it's like, well, play the motherfuckers that shoot. Like, even if they not shooting great, at least put the shooters out there that shoot the ball. Also, another thing with the roster being fully healthy, and it's another thing that like you see repeatedly throughout the season. Chaz, you talk about the times where he like blows timeouts. How many times and how many games do you go where like Trey Murphy and Zion off the floor consistently? It's like, well, if this
They
team is
sit
not,
Alvin. They're standing at the table. He won't get them in the game.
bro,
They're
they sitting there
standing
for
there.
minutes at a time, at minutes at a time. And then it's like you know the limitations of this team. You cannot afford to go stretches without your best players on the floor. Good coaches know that. How often is Brunson and Cat both off the court? How often is Ant and I mean I don't know who else would be online like on par with Ant, but like Brian Reeves and Luke are all off the court at the same. Like it just don't work like that. Like that's just common NBA knowledge. Like you're not sitting, especially when you are a bad team, supposedly trying to get wins. So I just think a lot of people made a lot of really good points about like the lack of the lack of with Borrego moving forward. And I know we weren't technically talking about Borrego, but it's just like when you talk about the lineup per se and like what happened, and this was your first opportunity with the quote unquote healthy roster, and it's like Chaz, you bring up like the people still playing too free. They've been playing too free for years. You were supposed to come in and fix that. That's not fixed. You were supposed to come in with some kind of consistent offense. That's not fixed. We supposed to have some kind of, you talk about Zion with no go-to move. Well, if this motherfucker ain't got no go-to move, put him in a go-to situation. Put him in a go-to situation that we could maximize every time. That by this point in the season, you'll know what it is that we doing, what it is we trying to get to. So like I understand, like, and this is why I look at good coaching or whatever, is that I understand that some players, right, you might not have the best players, but at the same time, you could see like a good coach, you can see what it is they're trying to, what that is they're trying to do. Like Jeremiah Fizz is developing, but I think Jeremiah the Fizz was always going to develop. Like I just think players get better as the game, as they play more, as they do film workout on, like, you know what I mean? You just some that's natural progression. I can't give you benefit of the doubt for what you doing with Jeremiah Fizz personally, because I thought he should have been went to the bench. You should have been tried to slow the game down for him. That wasn't really something that you that that was pressing enough for you to do. If Derek Queen was struggling, like why weren't you, in my opinion, like telling these players what it is that you want them to do so they can have like exact roles and be able to master those roles. So that's just kind of my opinion on that. Go ahead.
I think, and again, like bro, I can't stress the politics behind this shit enough because I'm like, if you're Borrego, like maybe you're just an assistant coach trying to punch above his weight, and you can't do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? You only got one season where you finish, with a above 500 record, if I'm not mistaken. And I tweeted this months ago. It was in my pin. It was in like my pinned tweets for a while. I was talking about the Memphis Grizzlies, right? If we talk about just maximizing talent, you got Memphis Grizzlies with who was missing? Scottie Pippen Jr. was missing most of this year. Ja Morant, Edie, Brandon Clark Jr., Ty Jerome. Just so many injuries. This probably one of the most injured teams or games missed by injuries teams in the NBA this season. They still got more wins than the Pelicans. Still got more wins because, like, and not to mention they beat the Pelicans twice. And
Traded Bane,
yeah, traded Bane.
Triple J gone and Ja been out.
Right, and I think is KCP still there?
KCP might still be that. Edie been out for the
Yeah, and
season,
KCP
pretty much.
KCP has been awful for years now, right? Memphis has come from behind victories against the Pelicans. The Pelicans have lost 17 games, well, blown 17 four-quarter leads this season. Like four-quarter, this in the fourth quarter alone, if you zoom out, that number probably grows to like 27 total. Like this is a bad coaching staff. Like, irregardless of the talent, it's like you should be tripping and falling into some of these motherfucking wins. You're just totally incompetent. Like, and it's interesting to me that again, it's like Everett said when he mentioned Dennis Allen. The assistant coach is always the best coach. The backup quarterback always the best quarterback. You know what I'm saying? We need to get motherfucking I'm trying to think who it was. We need to get we need to get
Man,
Jordan
shout
Love in
out
the
Chris
game.
Conner in the building, man. What's good, Chris?
Whoa, what up, Chris? I see you got your hand up, big dog. Look,
Hey man, listen. Bruh, this motherfucking Borrego is and I know I've been holding this shit in all year on how annoying
It's
this
it's 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 a,
goddamn
it's a safe space, brother. It's a safe space. Go
this
ahead.
motherfucker James Borrego be sitting his punk ass on the sideline and just looking at the referees and like, oh, I'm about, like, you know how it's like he pump faking the damn fans, like, oh, he about to call a timeout. Even even Joel and AD be like, oh, this is gonna bring a timeout, and then it doesn't. Like, this motherfucker, like, bro, if you don't call a goddamn timeout to stop the run, it's like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we actually doing here? I've literally watched Steve Kerr, who I don't really think Steve Kerr's like a great coach. I think he's had great players, but that's a whole nother story. But I literally watched him playing the Pelicans burn through all his fucking timeouts back to back to back because he was like, I'm not about to have these motherfuckers just go on a run on us. Because the moment that the players stopped doing some shit that he told them not to do, he called the timeout, get their ass back in line. Because every other team, when we about to go on a run, call a fucking timeout. They don't wait until we climb up from 15 down to take the lead by one to then call a timeout. What's the fucking point now? You should have did that shit 20 minutes ago. And it's fucking blows my mind that this dude is still sitting there, or that fans are like, oh yeah, man, this is all Zion's fault. He should have never stepped out of bounds that one time. What the fuck are we talking about? 20 minutes before that, we should have ran a goddamn play. Is Zion perfect? No. Is Trey perfect? None of these motherfuckers are perfect. They're all human. But goddamn, coaching, direction, mentorship, growth. Where is our direction? This man was brought in to be the goddamn offensive genius. They can't run a play. They can't run a play nowhere.
The
Like,
thing
come on,
the thing that
right?
frustrates me the most, and it's funny when Evan was talking, I was thinking about Chris Broussard. I don't remember who Chris Broussard was talking about. He was like, "Come on, is the man?" I'm not gonna say the word. He was like, "Is the man crazy?" And he was like, "Well, I don't mean no disrespect." Like he was, because I don't know why that made me think of what Evan was saying about Borrego. But the thing that frustrates me is like we'll go 4 or 5 minute stretches where it's like, damn, we cannot fucking score. Then they'll put up the graphic like the Pelicans haven't scored in the last 5 minutes. And it's like, within that 5 minutes, Zion might not take a shot at all. Like, he might not touch the fucking basketball. Or if he does score like 2, 3 in a row, we like, in the chat, when I go live, it's like a running joke now. You were like, oh, he scored twice. You know what that means? They about to sub him out.
No, Chaz. The running joke is that for half this fucking season, Queen wouldn't pass him the ball,
Man,
if not longer than half this. Bro, Queen would not pass Zion the ball. I've never seen a rookie look off the fucking highest paid player, the star player on the team, more than Queen has looked off Zion in my life.
You
This shit
know,
is wild.
I kind of wish the problem. I really do wish that was DQ's only problem. To be honest, Derik is having a hell of a interesting season. Me and Ivy, we took.
Outside of the fact that he can't jump over a paperclip,
See, I ain't want to go
like
there, but I guess this is as good as time.
it's a safe space.
It's
It's
as
a
good as
safe
time as
place.
any to kind of transition into what we've seen from the rookies so far, being the development of Jeremiah Fears and maybe the lack thereof of Derek Queen, maybe the regression of DQ. Um, Alvin, you want to go first? Cause I don't want, I'm trying to be
Nah,
cool.
you good.
Now I'll go first. I've been
Go ahead,
waiting
go
on
ahead.
this. No, I'm just playing. Go
go
ahead,
ahead,
Alvin.
Everett. This been the space has been gone for a while. Go ahead and let it out, bro.
Go
No.
ahead, Eric.
Oh wait. Oh, y'all been
Oh
in here
no,
for a
we no,
minute?
you're
I ain't
good,
know.
you're
My
good.
bad. I should have
We
been in
started
here.
at 9. This is the last segment. But go ahead, speak your mind, brother.
Okay. Hey man, listen, bruh. How many games, in y'all professional opinion, do y'all think we lost because of the rookies and their fucking turnovers this season? At the worst possible fucking time. Or how many? Who was that guy that was on our team that used to blow layups all the fucking time? What the fuck was his name? He was good for blowing a layup. Was it Dyson? Yeah, Dyson was good for blowing a layup. I swear, for most of the season, Jeremiah Fears was good for blowing a fucking layup. Queen, as dope of a passer as he is, can't jump over a fucking sheet, goddamn toilet tissue. I don't understand why he won't jump. And he bitches like he's a fucking veteran. Like, bro, shut your ass up and go back over there. DeAndre Jordan, like, hey, Queen, shut the fuck up. Yo, I get it. But I'll be like, bro, y'all are rookies. I said it earlier in the season. They got too much dip on on a chip. Too many motherfuckers been telling them they're the next biggest thing. Like y'all don't need Trey, y'all don't need Zion. Y'all got this. Y'all the next. Somebody been in their ear gassing them, and they believe that shit. And now they are understanding that they're very good players. I believe they're going to be great players. I think they're gonna be good players eventually, but we're not there yet. Pass the fucking ball to your highest paid players. Pass the ball to Trey. Well, pass the ball to fucking Zion. I've never seen Zion not. Could you imagine Alvin, LeBron James on a fast break with a rookie, and he don't pass him the motherfucking ball on a fast break? Oh
You,
my god! I said, how many
Everett,
times
I'm sorry to cut you off.
could you
Last
imagine?
night in the first quarter, it was Zion, Herb, and I think Sadiq Bey on a fast break, and I think Zion was calling for the alley. and Herb kicked it out to Sadiq Bey, and Sadiq Bey missed. I was like, I couldn't be a coach. But go ahead.
Bruh,
I couldn't be a coach.
what the
I'd
fuck are
have
we
threw a
doing?
chair at Herb.
Like,
I'd throw a motherfucking chair at Herb. Like, what are you? Are you crazy? Like, well, go ahead.
no, no, I feel you, but no. And here's the thing: I like Queen as a basketball player. I personally like Emisi more than Queen in this situation because he hustles. He can fucking jump, rebound. He'll block his shot, send that bitch halfway up the lower bowl. I like Jeremiah Fears coming off the bench.
Do,
I cannot say that these two rookies are the next thing because if you took Zion Trey out the picture and you left them, we would lose by 100 points a game.
do you think? And like, let's get a show of hands in the space. Do y'all think Derek Queen will be better than Gary Clark Jr.?
Yeah, I'm not gonna disrespect that man like that.
I only
Yeah,
no because I
damn.
say no. I say that because I say that, and I don't say it in a fucked up way. I say it because they're similar athletes. So where it's like athleticism ain't a part of the game necessarily. I don't mean it in a
Oh,
fucked up way. I am being a little funny with it. But do you still think Derek Queen projects? My bad. I know you're talking about fears, but I want you to answer this before you speak about fears. Do you think Derek Queen projects to be a Sengun level player?
I think he has the natural ability. I think he's just young in the NBA. And I really think he just needed a giant slice of humble pie because people was gassing him. You know, he had a chip on his shoulder, as he should, because, a team took a risk on him and they moved up to get him. I get all that. But you have to, it's not your time, bro. You have to be humble enough to learn from the veterans and take your time. Like, bro, you're only 19 years old.
No,
Like,
no,
bro,
no, 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 no. Derek Queen is 21, if I'm not mistaken. He's either 20.
oh, Jeremiah Fears is
Yeah, Derek
19 or
Queen
20, something
19.
like that.
I think Derek Queen he's either 20 or 21. But go ahead.
Oh, he look young as shit. But either way it go, I just think he needed to go to the bench. I think he needed to get his minutes cut to slow him down. Because it was just a lot of them trying to lean too heavily into the rookies to try to shorten their learning curve. But as shout out to Antonio Daniels, growth isn't linear, so it is what it is. He just needed to slow the fuck down. And Jeremiah Fears, I like his game. I like where he's at now because at the beginning of the season, this bitch would not pass the ball. Like he's the most non-passing the ball point guard I've ever seen in my life. But he's doing better now, and his decision making just has to get better. But I think Jeremiah Fears is. I think he's better than Queen, in my opinion. That's just me.
Yeah, DQ is he's 21. L, what's your how do you feel about the rookies? Look, I've DM'd Elvin quite a bit
Yeah,
after some of these games. Like, oh my god, this brother
yeah.
needs to go to the big three. I'm not talking about
Listen,
which player I'm talking about, but I'm just saying.
I'm
I've
so I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
just I'll put it this way as far as the rookies, and again, shout out to Everett for this point. But this is again, I hate to bring it back to first off Willie Green, but also Borrego. That the one thing that I thought both of them needed was time, like to earn the opportunity to play early, especially playing over a lot of the veterans that they played over. Like I'm sorry, Jordan Poole got benched by game four, you was willing to start Jeremiah Fears by game four. And not that Jeremiah Fears didn't play okay, but the plan was not to start Jeremiah Fears that early into the season. He hadn't earned, in my opinion, he hadn't done enough in summer league. They had 0 wins. Preseason, I don't think you had any wins over any other than the Australian teams. I don't think you had any wins over any of the other like actual NBA teams. So like
Correct.
so why would they think? starting him that early into the season. Like what had he done? And he had a good game against Memphis, but like what had he done at that point in the season to just automatically get the starting nod over Jordan Poole, who,
Well, Jordan Poole told Willie Green to eat a dick.
probably so. Probably so. But that's why I said it's not on just Poole, it's on Poole and Borrego.
No,
Because
yeah,
when
but
Borrego,
all,
go ahead,
all
go
jokes
ahead.
aside, my bad. Look, all jokes aside, that was like the rumor that them two had got into it, and Jordan Poole's situation with the coaching staff never improved since then. But based on people I talked to, but go ahead.
Absolutely. I'm saying you can tell, but similarly to like him and DQ was kind of in the same situation in my opinion. So like all I'm saying is that they I agree that they both had a little too much dip on the chip because they were kind of like blessed minutes through, injury and just kind of like this motherfucker fucking up, so it's your opportunity. On top of these they suck. They suck. So which is like unfortunate, but when Borrego was hired, to me, he did not instill hierarchy, right? Which he had an opportunity to come in and reset everything. Take whatever you feel about if Joe Dumars is telling the truth or whatever about he has to play the rookies and stuff like that. It's like, well, hold on. If you had to play the rookies or you had to start them, then why are they not starting now? Or if you had to play them, then why they're not playing as much now? Like, if that's the case, you might as well play these motherfuckers 30 something minutes if you absolutely have to play them. Don't say you have to play them and then you see DQ get 14 minutes. Those two things don't correlate. So my point is that throughout the however many games Borrego had been available, like you could have established, hey, this is how we gonna run this motherfucking offense. If I catch you not passing to Z again on a break, motherfucker, you won't play again for another week. You get what I'm saying? DQ. If I see you not throw that bitch to Z when he on the block with a smaller man, you won't get in the game for a week. Like you could do it to rookies. You see it happen to rookies all the time. They doing it to Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole getting DMPs making $30 million. If you could bench Jordan Poole and you saying that, hey, this is an equal opportunity offense, this is an not an equal opportunity offense. I'm sorry. Like if this is supposed to be, some kind of like everybody has an opportunity. Well, if they're not following what it is they're supposed to do, then like you make them earn the opportunity to play. That's how you instill discipline and structure. And again, maybe I don't know the NBA game from a coaching standpoint. So like maybe somebody else that might have more, knowledge on the situation can enlighten us if that's not how that shit work. But again, my thing is everything that like it feels like not only are the politics playing a difference, obviously we already know that's part of it, but it's just kind of like if you want to if you want to say or at least have it look like what a good coach is to me, then like these are some of the like core principles that you got to stand on like this is what it takes to build a good team. Because yeah, you got to play the politics to a degree, but if you come out and get wins and be like, look, bro, I'm telling you, this is gonna pay off. This is what we trying to build and all of that. Then like you'll have more of a leg to stand on, in my opinion, as opposed to the shit we see where it's just okay, we're gonna play him just to play him, or we're like if you felt DQ needed to sit for a while, then sit that motherfucker for a while. You get what I'm saying? Like you the interim anyway. Like what are you gonna do? He gonna fire you right now? No, they not firing you the rest of the season. Like what they gonna do? Shout at you? Like if he bench DQ, hypothetically, let's say that the word was, hey man, look, you gotta play. Did y'all watch Moneyball? You remember how that manager in the beginning of Moneyball refused to play the fucking players that your boy was playing? He was just like, look, this is what I'm gonna do. What you gonna do? Fire him? You done already fire one coach. I don't think you about to come in and fire Borrego the rest of the season. If you felt like you needed to bench DQ for more defense, then do it. Missy minutes is inconsistent. Carlos minutes inconsistent. I think all of that is part of what the problem is. But I don't want to roll too long. But that's just that shit just frustrates me. So I can't even really evaluate the rookies because I felt like they've been put in terrible situations because I didn't think that Jeremiah Fish should have been starting most of them fucking games anyway. I don't think DQ should have been starting or playing as many minutes as he was playing. And then, okay, if you're going to play him, then play him. Now it's like, all right, now we could bench him. It's like, well, it's the end of the season. Now what you benching him for now? So I just think the consistency not there.
I'm gonna pass it to Ivy and my dog Silver in the building, and I'm gonna be real with y'all, man. I've been saying this all season. If James Borrego was Willie Green, he'd have a cross burning outside his house right now. Ain't no way in the world Willie Green could get away with the shit JB getting away with. But I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to Ivy and then Silver. Go ahead, y'all.
Man, that's funny as hell. Oh, L man, to piggyback off of some of the statements you made in regards to Derek Queen, man. I and you know, you guys been having this monologue on Borrego, bro, and again, I'm a bit perplexed as to why he's getting so much criticism for me, right? And I think everybody has their rightful designation where the blame should go. But for me, it always goes back to Joe Dumars because I believe there's an agenda to play Derek Queen to substantiate the trade for him. Like you cannot give up that much in compensation and talking about barely playing him, like you know what I'm saying, early on in the season and not starting him. Like you have to substantiate that move. And so to do that, you have to give him more opportunities. You have to give him a little bit more grace and more leeway and you see that he's just not ready. He's had more bad games than he had good games. And like, you know, you can talk about Borrego all you want about, you know, his substitution pattern, his timeouts, all that's cool. But man, this kid was not ready to really contribute to winning basketball, even though he's an older prospect. It was just a massive blunder in picking him with that type of compensation. And they have to try and make up for that by giving him opportunities after opportunities, and it just has not panned out. And so again, man, most of this vitriol is directed at Borrego, but look, man, I still go upstairs with mine.
Well, you know, for me,
Let me hold
okay,
on,
go ahead,
Sash, real
go ahead.
quick. Let me just I see real quick. This is my not pushback, but this is where I'm kind of holding Borrego to the fire. It's especially if the the idea is to make Queen look good, right? If the idea is to make Queen look good, then you need to play Queen in the most advantageous situations possible. And I just feel like the way that they've and it again,
Which would be
he might have his own limitations, but I'm matching him up against most second units. I'm playing them, you know what I'm saying? I'm playing them with lineups like him and Trey Murphy glued at the hip. Like certain things is whatever you feel. And again, that's you the offensive, not saying you specifically, but that's the offense. What I was told was he was a master at offense. Put this motherfucker in some situations where he can be the most advantageous that you know that he can be. So that was my only point for like highlighting Borrego specifically. I understand Queen's limitations for sure. But and I do understand, like you said, the agenda that Dumars has. It's like, so let's say he is forced to play him. If you come back and say, look, I'm gonna play him, he gonna play 20 minutes, but his 20 minutes need to be against a unit where he can look like the best versions of himself, not at center where or not with another center on the court, because him playing with another center isn't the best situation, and that's mainly when you see him. So it's kind of like, give if you're gonna have to play him, then at least play him with the stuff that's kind of like highlights him the most and not like you know emphasizes his deficiencies.
I'm a I see you had a response for I pass it to Silva and then Everett.
no.
I'm gonna pass it to my dog Silva. And then Everett, you up next. I'll just say my issue with Borrego is not necessarily playing DQ because I feel like he should play. it's just more about picking the spots better. Utilization. Personally, I don't think DQ is a score first guy. I think he's going to have to be used in similar ways to DeAndre Jordan. I'm sorry, to Draymond Green. He have to be used similar ways to Draymond Green for us facilitating. I also think it's going to. I think Fears can play off of Queen, but I don't think Queen style of play. It's going to be tough with his lack of athleticism because I can't really see Fears collapsing the defense and dishing it to Derik Queen in the dunker spot for an easy dunk because I think Derik Queen is going to struggle with a dunk. You know what I'm saying? It's a tough situation, and I like Derik Queen a lot. I just think he has to play in a very particular manner to be successful. Silver, what's happening with your homie?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Just a heads up, bro. I'm behind on a lot of shit. I didn't even hear what Stephen A. Smith said. I've been out the loop. I've been grinding outside of
Well,
the Pelican.
well,
Yeah, the Pelican shit.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, to sum it up, he was just mainly just talking about the lack of success that the organization has had in its 20 plus years. He didn't provide a ton
Damn.
of context because the Pelicans have had several owners. They were essentially a fucking expansion team with Mashburn getting vertigo and McGlory leaving soon, Baron Davis leaving soon after that. It was really just a bizarre attack that he tried to like personalize it. Like them showing his highlights was an attack on him personally. He started talking about his reading level. It just all kind of
The fuck?
inconsequential shit. Like it was
Yeah,
weird. But go there.
yeah. Dude, weird man. He got a fragile ego, but I mean, look, look, y'all. I'll be honest, man. Like I've been more tapped in with the Saints. What's been going on? But when I have been watching the Pelicans, I think my stance with everything right now. I was hearing what y'all was saying about Derek Queen. And I know me and you spoke about this briefly, but I'm with y'all as far as like I am concerned about Derek Queen and his development. Um, I don't man, I don't even know if it's James Borrego or if it's gonna be the future head coach, because I don't think James Borrego gonna stay here. But um, I think for Derek Queen, bro, honestly, man, I think he gonna have to just like go back to the drawing board this season. I think first and foremost, get in better shape. His vertical is terrible, man. I think I'm not worried about him dunking and shit like that. It's more so about the defense. So like trying to get rebounds, putbacks, and stuff like that could be really challenging for him. Of course, he needs to work on his three, but I don't know, man. I think I've been more higher on Fears lately because like I've been seeing some things in Fears where he's adjusting to like adversity, and even though it's been in like limited minutes, he's winning those minutes. And I think with Queen, this kind of go back on JB. We could definitely put him in better spots to, I think back to the Mavericks game and shit. Like I don't know if it's either the league is figuring Queen out, which is possible because after a while teams adjust to young guys, and they tend to season, or it could be a long season. It could be a poor nutritious activity from him, not to be in shape, but something is just different, bro. Like it's not hitting the
Can
same.
I can I
I can't remember the last.
Can I ask you this,
Yeah, go ahead.
Silver? Because you brought up a great point. Because I always like to reference that Dallas game as well. In the following, in a Dallas game, another game where they blew a double-digit lead and lost in the fourth quarter. But that following game, when they neutralized Derek Queen with Dyson, in my opinion,
Mm,
that's all it really took for James Borrego to get off the Queen, bandwagon as far as him being a facilitator in the offense. Like, oh, they shut it
yeah,
down once. It's time to move on. It's like, no, every team doesn't have Dyson Daniels. Like, you know what
right.
I'm saying? But go ahead, Silver. My bad.
Mm-hmm. Now you're right, and we gotta remember too, bro. Like with James Borrego, we gotta remember like his offense. He really values guards. Going back to Charlotte, like shit, that's why Devontae Graham was in the league for a decent amount of time. But it's a very guard centric, you know, offensive system. So that's not really surprising to me. But one thing that is surprising to me is that what the stakes that the front office basically put out there for Derek Queen. I was thinking it was going to be more from a political standpoint, like more pushback with the coaching staff. Like, hey, I know you don't like this type of style, but we invested a lot in Derek Queen, so we got to get this shit more going. But I think in the middle of all this shit, yo, honestly, I think they say, you know what, we're gonna fall back and see what you can do. If you can string some games along, maybe you can keep your job. If not, then it is what it is. But that's why I say it's gonna be like it's this kind of a wasted season. It's not a wasted season, but like it's kind of like a bullshit season because JB basically failing right now. Like he's not gonna have enough wins to save his job. On top of that, like the front office basically seem like they're not really pushing JB to play Queen like how he's supposed to be played. So I think ultimately it's gonna come down to next season. But I guess my point I'm making is that it's also I think it's like 50-50, bro. Like it's not only on whoever coach is going to be back. I mean, be there next year. It's also on Derek Queen to, mature a little bit, bro. Like I said, he had potential, bro. But like, dog, like it's levels, man. Like I don't know. I think I don't want to close the book on him early because I like to give rookies like at least 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I did it with Dyson and shit like that. But
Does him being
it
an
just
older rookie change your perspective on that timeline?
Hmm. Not necessarily. I
Okay,
mean, he is. You're right. That's a good point. He's 20, right? He came in the league at
he's
20.
21.
He 21. Fuck. I didn't know that. Okay. Shit. Yeah. I mean, slightly. But with skill bigs, bro, like what they say, like with centers and point guards, it take the longest for them to to
Is
adjust.
yeah,
So
very very difficult
yeah,
positions.
yeah. So the age thing is slightly worrisome, but I think it's more so about like dog, I just hope, and credit to Zion, even though there's some things on his court, like on the court where it's like he still haven't really got better at, but he is starting to mature and everything. I'm just hoping for Derek Queen, it doesn't take that long for him to like take the game serious and no personal attack to him and everything. But you could just tell with some elements with Jeremiah Fears, it just seemed like he cared more. Like I look at when Jeremy, like I like to look at like when young guys, like whenever they fuck up, how they react to it. Some players like they go Jordan Hawkins or Kyra Lewis, where it just from a mental health standpoint, it just depletes them. For some of them, they go through that stage, but then they get more motivated and they get fiery to bounce back and they get pissed off when they mess up again. Well, Jeremiah Fears now, y'all notice like he's been focusing more on his passing abilities, his point guard abilities. So he may try to make the right call, even though like he's not really, he still got to learn and shit about that. But whenever he do make a mistake, he get pissed off at it, or he like, damn, like I need to do better at it. Sometimes when I look at Derek Queen, like I see more of a sense like it's like a aloof approach to it, and that comes from maturity, and that comes from with the person, as it is. But I'm just hoping, bro, like if he ever get to that point, it don't take as long as it did with Zion, or it don't be as bad as Zion. But it's gonna be revealing. I just don't like how, and it's the last thing I'll say. I don't like how with the two timeline approach. I feel like with these two rookies, well, all three of the rookies, like they kind of put in a position where, regardless what happened next season, they got to adjust and get better like quickly. I don't think that's fair to them, and I think that's like a disadvantage. I think I mentioned this on Buku Media before, but that's like a disadvantage to them because it's not a proper trajectory of how players should develop. So if these two guys never truly reached their potential, I feel like it was like kind of like fixed to begin with. But I'm hoping that they could like rise above that. That's all I say.
That's a great point.
Oh, say L, you got something you want to say?
No, I just
It's
think
Everett time. Actually, my
I know
bad. Go.
Everett, yeah, like real quick before Everett roll, but like that last point was a very good point, and Ivory mentioned that multiple times. The two timeline approach is unfair to the veterans because you got to have them playing with rookies that aren't ready to win while they're trying to win, but then you got rookies that need to be able to fucking play and make mistakes and learn however they need to learn, but you got them held to a different unreasonable standard right now. So just that point at the end was just a really good point that I think people keep forgetting. But shout out to IC because IC never let me forget it all. He repeat that all the time. That two timelines approach is like what can kill either the vets and what kills your rookies.
You know what's crazy? I don't believe there's a two timeline scenario because I
Stole my whole flow, Chad. You about to steal my
look,
whole
well, look,
flow.
I'm gonna pass this to you, and you can piggyback, right? Or you can piggyback on this, Everett. I don't believe there's a two timeline for two reasons. One, they've shown that they quote unquote want to be competitive. Nine for two, I just don't view Derek Queen as a foundational piece. I think Derik Queen is closer to the player he's going to be now than like 4 years from now. I don't think their outlook on him is like, by the time his second contract comes, we're gonna be ready. I think you could view fears like that, maybe, but I don't think Derik Queen is that guy. And I think, I,
But Chaz, that's your assessment though,
but,
and it's hard for me to believe that the front office have that same
well,
disposition,
the,
given the fact that they traded this year's first round pick for
no,
him.
look,
So that
you
that
absolutely
signals
right.
that.
You absolutely right. But this is what I think is going to tell it. If year two comes and this dude just ain't playing well. One thing about Joe Dumars I've seen it and with Weaver to a lesser extent is that I bad, we fucked up. Let's move on.
I'm, can I jump in right quick, y'all?
Go
If
go
that
ahead. And
does
it is
happen, bro,
absolutely every turn after you, Silver. Go ahead. Go ahead.
my fault, Everett. This like it's gonna be 10 seconds. If that does happen, then that should be a major indictment on Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver because you can't just burn picks like that, especially in a potential generational draft class that this was. But that's all I got.
Joe. E, what you got, homie?
All right, I got a couple things because y'all done made a bunch of points and you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. No, no, y'all done made a lot of valid points, but I kind of want to start with the whole. I guess I'll go backwards on this one. Um, I can't sit here and say that Joe Dumars made a mistake by drafting Queen, even though I say he can't jump over a paper clip. He done looked off the start play, all that. Because still, out of the 30 fucking picks that was made in the first round, we got two of the best of the entire fucking draft.
I
The
wanted
draft
Noah,
is
and Noah was trash. Go ahead.
and we got two of the best on our team. So it's not like they picked two fucking scrubs. We're talking about two people that was in the Rising Star game. We talk about two people that have been consistently ranked as the top seven rookies on a rookie ladder this entire fucking season. So is it a wasted pick? In my opinion, no, because we could have picked another motherfucker, and that was just apps that was trash. You know what I mean? So
Everett,
is
real
it?
quick, let me ask you this. I don't
Yeah,
mean to cut you off. Let me ask you
yeah,
this.
yeah.
If let's say that's correct, your statement is correct, right? Let's say the rookies that haven't excelled in their roles this year start to excel in year 2 and 3 and 4, and Queen or Fears, start to regress and go down in year 2, 3, and 4. Like all I'm saying is I don't think you can base it off of 1 year rookie year for to say that it's been a success or not. I think you have to give them at least to their second contract. And I haven't totally written off Derek Queen because these things take time. But to say we definitely won because they're doing well in year
I
one,
didn't. I didn't
I
say
think
they
that's a
won.
okay.
I didn't say they
All right.
won. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying they won because here's the thing about the NBA draft: it's a fucking Russian roulette. You don't know because you don't know. All you can do is base it off of potential. Everything about the NBA draft is what people think the potential of this person could be. We don't know. We don't know their drive. We don't know their work ethic. We can assume because everybody's gonna put on a show, but we don't know once they get that money how they're gonna change or develop or all that shit. It's nothing. I don't know. You don't know. Fucking hell, they don't know. They can assume. They can make educated guesses, but all we can do is base it off of now. We can't talk about the future. We don't know if people going to develop a injury history. You know, it's a lot of things that can go either good or bad for players. Period. I mean, that's just the way the draft is when you're drafting a player. So,
I knew Dyson
but
was
as
trash though. I knew Dyson was gonna be trash. I just saw it.
hey,
I
but
just saw it.
Chaz, as much as we all know Dyson was trash, right?
You're right. He
What did
still put together a
did
good
did,
season. Yeah,
did he not just win damn near most improved player?
he did.
He won most.
He
Did he
did.
not just get a lot of fucking votes for defensive
Defensive.
player of the year?
Yep. Great. Look, they don't call him the Great Barrier Thief for nothing. That motherfucker stole
That
that contract. But shout out to him.
but the point is he got the contract based off of potential, not off of who he is today. That's just the way contracts work in the NBA. So once again, to bring my point back around is the fact that I can't really say that Joe Dumars was fucked up for doing it now. Do I think he is absolutely dumb for not putting any restrictions on it? Absolutely. Dumbest thing he could have possibly could have done. But here's the thing: all of these, every single year, and Chaz knows this because he does a lot of work when it comes to the draft and reading and studying the guys. Every draft, it ain't like 30 of them are going to be fucking great. We may get 7. And it ain't the top 7 always. It's always some random motherfucker that got drafted in 29, the second round. So what's to say? Who's to say that any of these people are going to just be, oh, I know he's going to be great. How many times have we heard that, Chaz, that I know this person is going to be fucking great
I
and they
felt that
wind
way
up being
about
trash?
several guys that ended up not doing shit. Honestly, I think to Ivy's point and to your points, Everett is like the best you could do is project, right? The best you could do is
That's it.
look at where the game is now, and based on history, who projects to be good. The thing with Derik, and you can speak to this as well, Everett. The thing with DQ is I don't see an example of that player in the NBA right now that's executing at a winning at a high level. I think if you want to say, all right, his max is Sengun. Let's say he's Sengun, right? Most teams wouldn't build around that player. That's why shit. You see the Rockets. They look last year. It was like, yo, it's a Man Thompson team. A Man Thompson about to be the guy. We don't know. We want Jalen Green or Sengun. We could take either one of them. Well, we don't know which one of these motherfuckers we want. And I
I
think
agree.
I'm about to say I think they're gonna find themselves in a similar situation with Fears and Sengun. I'm sorry, with Fears and Derik, where it's like even if you are Sengun, I don't think the two of you coexist well. And I also think it's gonna take a realization for Derik that may not come until like year 3 or 4. It may not come until later in his career, where it's like okay, I have to be comfortable averaging 12 points a game. I'm I'm
A
I'm a
thousand percent.
I'm a 12, 10, and 5 guy. Maybe 12, 10, and 7. I'm a pass first player in the NBA, and I just have to be comfortable with that because some of his shortcomings, aside from shooting, I really don't know how he goes about improving. The athleticism factor is what it is. The age factor is what it is. His height is what it is. It's just going to be tough. But I'm still a believer that he could be a very effective player in a facilitator role. What you got? Oh, I'm sorry, Everett. Did you
Yeah, yeah,
finish your
yeah.
thought, brother?
No, no, hold on. Let me finish my points.
Okay.
So the Shangoon, so it's a copycat league. Everybody likes to compare veteran players to rookie players because Jokic started it all. So the Rockets found a player that reminded them of Jokic. Oh, we can get the next Jokic because Jokic was that motherfucker, and they got Shangoon. The Pelicans are looking like, damn, we can get us a Jokic too. Let's try to find the next one. So we got an unathletic uh really good passer in Derek Queen. It's just the same damn trend. But that I'm not saying that Derek Queen or Shangoon is going to be Jokic. Because like I said before, we don't know their work ethic. We don't know, and we cannot depend on them to get better during the season because I am one of those people that truly believe that player development from a team's perspective is completely fucking overrated. Because if a player wants to get better, they're going to be in the offseason getting fucking better. Trey Murphy didn't get better because of the Pelicans. Trey Murphy got better because this motherfucker got better every goddamn summer. So a team doesn't develop player. The player decides that they want to get fucking better and grow and come into the next season to do whatever the fuck they're gonna do. That's just my take on it. But to bring it all, but yeah, I'm gonna just end it there. But yeah, man,
Now, I agree with Everett. I do think though also where you get drafted really can change the trajectory of your career. Because if Therese Maxey, I like to joke about the Therese Maxey versus Kyra Lewis thing, but on the real, if Therese Maxey got drafted to the Pelicans, he wouldn't be shit. Like that, it's unfortunate, but he probably wouldn't be shit. He'd probably be alright. going, and on the next team he'll probably be Cam Thomas. If Therese Maxey got drafted to the Pelicans, he probably ended up being Cam Thomas because that's how bad our infrastructure is. We don't develop shit.
Speaking of Therese Maxey, y'all see some Therese Maxey
Fierce.
and Fierce.
I,
Ooh, that's
No,
a
I don't.
IC
Not at
question
all.
right
I
there.
I
Okay.
think
He don't pass the ball
he a rookie.
enough.
I think it's possible. I mean, I think it's possible. I think if that jumper becomes, if he can become like a 34% 3-point shooter on like 4 or 5 attempts, I'm really going to change my outlook on him because
I see Fox.
I
I see
Fox,
Fox in him.
hey, I ain't gonna lie, I'd take that deal. Because my initial thought was Jeff Teague. But if he becomes Fox or Maxey, I'll take either one of them. But I see Jeff Teague more realistically, and I also think him being such a smaller guard, he's almost there for us building out his physique. But he gonna have to get strong. Like he gonna have to be real strong, and get his legs stronger. That's one of the reasons why he probably didn't finish around the rim as efficiently as he could have. Probably didn't have the
Let me,
strong legs. Go ahead though, Elvin.
hey, Chad, let me pose a question to everybody real quick. Let's say, because obviously this team still wants to compete, right? Like they keep making the point that they wanna contend, they wanna compete. If, let's say, you go into next season and some way you hire a coach or whatever the situation is and you more competitive, do you think if they make a couple roster moves, because they probably got to bring in some veterans over the season, do you think it's possible if, let's say, I don't want to go as far as like a Giannis or something like that, but do you think it's possible that they would include Queen and or Fears in a deal to get somebody on this team? Like, for example, remember how when
Buddy here
Kevin
for.
Durant,
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
like no, just like when KD was getting ready to leave, the Nets, and it was like, fuck no, we'll never trade BI for Kevin Durant. I'm just wondering if, while they're early and young in their career, let's say Joe Dumars and them are like, man, look, DQ got potential and we love the potential. But the league, let's say he has having a good run, but the league might be like, we might be willing to do something. Do you think they would forfeit the potential future to go with like a star or more like star win now kind of player?
Yeah, hell yeah. I think like, for example, if Anthony Edwards came out tomorrow and
Well,
said,
that's different. Yeah, absolutely. You move anything for Ant. So I don't want to go Ant level, but like, what's a step under the
um,
best in the league?
you know, see, that's the thing with the league right now. It's so much parity at the star level to where, for me, I feel like Ant is top three. But some people from the outside looking in before this season, they wouldn't put Jalen Brown in the top five conversation. But
Jalen Brown.
let's say
That's a great.
let's
Let's
say
say let's say
hypothetically,
Jalen Brown was available. Do you think they'd be willing to move DQ
yes.
and Fierce? Because
I,
it'll take both,
I don't think it'd
probably.
take both.
I don't. I don't think they would do it.
I think they
And
move one of them.
I will tell you why I don't think they would do it. Chad, tell me if I'm crazy for thinking this. I
Sure.
don't think that they would do what you're suggesting, Alvin, for two reasons. One, they probably thinking one, I got these two rookies under contract for 7 years versus a superstar who I'm going to give up all these assets and get, and then they're going to leave, and then we're fucking cooked because Chad already said it earlier. We can't get players unless we draft
Mutual,
them.
mutual Mike Silver.
Oh,
Go ahead,
we
Evan.
can't get players unless we draft them or trade for them. But we cannot trade for people and have enough assets that we need that to have them here and still be competitive if we give up too much. We're kind of stuck in such a shitty spot because we don't get free agents. That is how teams truly get better because of free agency because now somebody's choosing them, but because we have a cheap ass owner who doesn't invest into the fucking team, nobody wants to fucking come here. They don't want to it's you ever looked at the Saints locker room and how fucking nice it is? How nice LSU football team locker room is, and how shitty the Pelicans locker
Well,
room looks?
Everett, 2 points, right? And I'm gonna pass it to Silver. 2 points though, Everett, because you made an excellent point. For one, Joe Dumars in his 60s. Joe Dumas is not looking at no extensive 10-year rebuild 7 years from now. Joe Dumas is living for today. That's one. And two, the Saints also have struggled to really. The Saints been getting like fucking end of their career safeties. They haven't been signing no box office motherfuckers like they used to back in the day. Remember the Dominican Sue came, he left. Back in the day, if the Saints got you on airline and got you in the building, you wasn't leaving. You might as well just get a change of address for them. But now it just, for one, you in a race against society with New Orleans. Like, it's just the market. People not big fans of the market necessarily. And for two, nobody won't play for no loser. But
You gotta win, though.
Silver,
You
what you got,
gotta
homie?
win.
Yeah, it's funny y'all saying that, bro. I was watching I'm not sure if y'all heard the YouTube channel Secret Base or SB Nation. They had a video on Joe Dumars recently they dropped. They were talking about like in retrospect, him signing um I think Rasheed Wallace. And they were just talking about like how back then he was trying to convince ownership how they need to play more young guys, and eventually that shit was kind of thrown out the window and they went for like a win now based on like the team. I think the only thing that's different now is that it's going to be even 10 times more of that philosophy. Because, like Chaz was saying, I was about to say the same thing. Like, bro, Joe Dumars is up there in age. They're not trying to wait. I think, shit. I think the draft shit was more for Troy Weaver. Troy Weaver is more of like a development slash like young rookie guy person. But I think if it was up to Joe Dumars, I think they would try to like. I think they would trade one of them. If they can get like a top five player, they'll probably trade both. But yeah, I think one of them dudes going if they had it over, and I think it kind of showed their hands. Like if they were down for saving, both of them, they wouldn't have said eight players on the team was untradeable. That kind of they kind of shown like, yo, next year they won't go for it. So I'm low key kind of expecting them to do something like that. To do like a win now move.
And never
To
forget.
piggyback,
I'm sorry, Al.
real quick,
Go
Chaz,
ahead.
go ahead. Just to piggyback off of that a little bit, how, what was the level of interest? And we don't know exactly, but what was the level of interest in a player like Ja, who Memphis is still looking to move in the offseason? Like, if Ja is available, right? Who's to say that they don't still try to go make that move and at least see what that looks like for you, right? But
Right, but that's
just
damaged goods. Jalen Brown is not damaged goods. Jalen Brown is a fucking Harvard grad, squeaky clean motherfucker.
But
You gotta go out and get damaged goods before you can go do that.
But that's really every team though. Like even with Kevin Durant, people don't keep trading Kevin Durant because he just playing excellent. They getting sick of this motherfucker. They're like, all right, he gotta go. That's why I was even like a couple seasons ago. I was like, man, they should just go get Kyrie because if you're the Pelicans, even with DeMarcus Cousins was due for a contract extension. He had issues in the locker room. He had issues with the press, and the Kings weren't winning. That's why he was available. Good players, great players, they aren't necessarily available unless they want to go, right? I
or
think
unless you the Lakers and Luca.
yeah, or unless like the league make the call. You know what I'm saying? Them people make the call on your ass. And even Luca was considered somewhat damaged goods. You feel me? Like, cause he was going off that vodka, and he was eating vodka and pasta and bread and shit and couldn't control himself. So he was wilding out. But Luca Cole, I think with the John Moran shit, I trust what people told me. And one thing I can't stress enough is that a lot of people have issues with this front office because this front office isn't particularly accessible. Whereas, like, you might brainstorm some shit. David Griffin would write the rough draft for you and be like, here, go publish this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whereas with this front office, and look, I'm not even joking saying that. Like David Griffin, you couldn't publish certain shit without running it past David Griffin. I have firsthand knowledge of this. But it's like with this front office, they don't really give a fuck. Like they're not playing all that friendly bop shit. You know what I'm saying? They don't feel that type of pressure necessarily to befriend media personalities. So look, what's his name? Mike Scotto said the Pelicans had some interest. I talked to Dawson. He said they had some interest. I talked to a couple other people. They said they had some interest. Keep in mind, you traded for Rasheed Wallace. You traded Chauncey Billups for Allen Iverson, and and you just traded for Jordan Poole, who was a bit of a pariah from the media standpoint. I think if they had an opportunity to get Ja for pennies on the dollar, they would do it. I think if it costs them a little bit too much, they won't do it. But I do.
You think
Go ahead.
you think that there was my bad? You think there were some things with Joe Dumars and John Morant? Because I know Joe Dumars used to work for the office, and he had to administer all those damn like discipline,
Yeah,
things and shit like that. You think there's like some ill will from him?
Relationship like he got with Z, similarly to when they was
Yeah,
both
like
in trouble.
I
yeah,
I don't think so, Silver, because I don't think that would turn him away necessarily because I mean Joe Dumars played on the team with Dennis Rodman tried to kill himself in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? And when he took on the job, like I'll just say this: Zion got away with a lot. Zion got away with a lot. And for everything we know, the league knows way more from the private investigators and all type of shit, right? I think a person coming from where Joe Dumas come from in the 80s and I don't think he's necessarily tripping if you can stay on the court. As long as you ain't like a menace to society and you can stay on the court, I don't think he's tripping. I do think it's a problem when you can't stay on the motherfucking court. Then you probably don't got, the same amount of bandwidth. But I don't think Joe or Troy would be willing to turn up their nose at people necessarily. Cause again, Zion, Zion had some shit going on the minute Joe Dumas got to the building. And, so and Zion's still here. It might be getting a fucking extension some kind of way. So
that's what I've been hearing.
yeah, so I think I don't know, bro. I think so much political shit go into this, dog. Like even I'm on a low level with the shit, so I can only imagine how much political shit go on above me. But even on my level, so much political shit go on with how some of the things with this front office is framed, with this current front office, that it's just like I don't know, dog. I don't know. It's wild, like, but Al, anybody had any closing thoughts on the team and evaluating how they move forward? Silver, what you got, homie? Alvin and Silver.
Yeah, I got a few things for y'all. So I don't think it's gonna be like a Jalen Brown type deal, but
Mm-hmm.
I got two questions for y'all. Like the first one is, will y'all trade Eve Messi and some pick for Jalen Suggs and Goga from Orlando? And the second question is, um could y'all see us making a move for Cat in the offseason?
What's Jalen Suggs' current contract? I like Jalen Suggs and Goga personally.
I personally haven't checked, but I think it's something to that. I think it's going to be a package deal, and us getting Jamal Mosley. I think we're going to
Oh
get
yeah, I'll do that.
some. Yeah.
And I kept bringing up Jamal Mosley's name for a reason. The Pelicans at one time really liked Jamal Mosley. I don't know if they still do, but that was
Yeah, I'm afraid of that nigga, bro.
yeah, that was a thing recently. But to answer your question on the first one, yeah, I would do that. Uh, what was your second question?
Asked
It was
about
about
Cat.
Cat. Like,
Oh, about
yeah, how
Cat.
much y'all would give up for Cat? Yeah.
Nah, I think Big Puss going somewhere else. I don't think he coming to the no. Shout out to Cat. I like Cat, man, but nah, Cat
To
put.
I got just a last thought or whatever. It's more so to like Silver's point in general, but like I do think this off season, especially with them not having a pick right now, I think them knowing the roster needs a lot of retooling. I think I don't think James keeps this job. I think they go get their coach because at the end of the day, I feel like this whole season they probably looked at as like an assessment season. But I think next off season will probably be more so of a I think we're gonna try and make a push. Like they'll get their coach. I think they'll be in for like moves like a Ja. Not saying Cat necessarily, but like I think they'll be in for more. Like Sabonis is probably gonna be more likely to be moved. I think you'll see Sabonis possibly like get looked at.
Guys like
I think they'll
Levine.
be yeah. I think they'll be like in the running for those kinds of players to kind of help solidify most of the roster. Again, you got about DeJounte is here now, and it's not to say that they don't want to keep DeJounte, but let's not be fooled by the rest of the season, bro. DeJounte's still playing to like make himself more available for trade. So like DeJounte will probably be available. You gotta do something with Poole. Loon got 8 million. Fucking Hawkins still on the roster. Poole 30 million. Like you still got almost $70 million of like
They got close to
like
50 and expiring that they could package.
Yeah.
yeah. So like I think you'll see them be more aggressive in like turning over the roster that way. So to like kind of to your point, I'm not sure exactly about the players, but I do think they're gonna be real aggressive in like from a trade aspect this offseason, especially with them not having a pick right now. And who's to say that they're gonna have an opportunity to get a first? I think they'll get another pick to get back in the draft, like late into it. But in case they don't, you still have to you cannot roll that roster back and you don't get free agents. So to all of those points, I think that's what like going forward, projecting forward, that's the only way they could do it, unless they go with the IC move and blow that shit up. But I don't see them doing that either.
They'll have the non-tax mid-level exception available. Probably about with Bryce's contract being guaranteed, probably a little over 10 million available. This is such a weak free agent class though. It's crazy. And you might, I best believe Rich Paul and DeJounte are gonna do everything they can to get out of New Orleans. Like them motherfuckers gonna go for it. Everett, what you got, homie?
Yeah, my ending comments are basically along the lines. I hope we get super aggressive in the offseason. There should only be out of the 15 players that we got on our roster right now, we should only have 7 that should be here next year. Get rid
Mm.
of half the motherfuckers.
Who the 7?
My personal 7, R.I.P. to Jose, he was one of them.
Okay.
But it would be obviously Z Trey, uh, Sadiq Bey.
Mm-hmm.
You have those are the only 3 people that consistently can score 20 points on our team. So we need them 3.
Okay.
Then I am a fan of Eve Misi, but I understand we have to have trade assets. I really like him on our team. I like his energy, hustle. So that's 4 right there. Chad's favorite person in Herb Jones, even though he has, even though he has a lot of injury, he has more injury problems than Zion in the last like 3 years. It's actually kind of crazy. Um, Queen and Fierce. Those are my 7. Everybody else can get the fuck
Micah
away
Peavy?
from
What
us.
about Micah Peavy and Carlo?
They can go. They can go.
Wow.
What
Okay.
about
And
Bryce?
and I didn't say I didn't like them.
Mhm.
I'm just saying we can upgrade the fuck out of. We can, let's keep it
Who
moving.
you say Silver? What about who?
I say, what about Bryce? And bro, you gotta
Oh
think
yeah,
like,
what about I rocks with Bryce? Bryce is
yeah.
I rocks with Bryce
So
because Herb always getting hurt. You need another person that can knock down shots, drive, get a bucket. I like Bryce, so he
but
could
my
he could.
my fault. My question to you is like, if we say those 7 players, like what assets will we use to like better the team? That's my only thing. We have to use somebody.
It's gonna be have to be one of those 2-for-1 type situations. Looking at people like, hey, I'm gonna give you an expiring contract here with because is it who has an expiring coming up next year, Chaz? You know these off the top of your
Well,
head.
Pool.
Pool's expiring, and I've been told that DeJounte, prior to him coming back this season, they had told teams that he'd be willing to potentially opt out of his player option for a longer, cheaper contract if he's traded.
There you go. So that's literally 60 something million right there. get gone. So these are the things that I would say. Now, obviously, we should have got more for Jose. You can do some filler with Hawkins and his deal. And if I really have to give up one of my 7, my vote is for
Herb, bro.
fucking Queen. Well, I was gonna say
Oh,
her, but it's gonna break my heart to say it, so I ain't gonna say it. So it's gonna break
Just
my
go
heart.
watch that motherfucker shoot, and I guarantee you it won't break your heart again.
No, it
Watch one
will.
of those
It's still
one.
gonna break my heart.
Watch
But
one of
and
those
then
1 for 9s.
Hey, I don't mind. Hey, but you know what? He makes everybody else play fucking defense. He's like a quarterback, and people actually hustle a little bit. But on top of all that, man, go ahead and go get Mike Malone, man. Pay that man a bag, get his ass here, and get us a fucking coach.
All right, so go ahead, RC.
Man, I just wanted to end with this, man. Listen, Jesus not gonna save us, man. The U.S. military not gonna save us, man. The only saving for this franchise is expansion. Pray for expansion soon. And that's the only way we go get back to relevancy, man. Y'all enjoy your evening.
Yes, indeed. I'll say this in closing. I'm hoping that the Pelicans have, probably like a $3 to $5 million budget for coaching staff. Keep in mind, you got to fill out the rest of the roster. I'm hoping Casey Hale, Collins, and Borrego the fuck up out of here. And in the words of the great Mr. Lee, believe half what you see and none of what you hear. There's a lot of politics going on right now in Big Round. A lot of politics. But thank y'all to everybody that joined. Thank y'all to everybody that got on the microphone, man. L, I see Silver. Good hearing from you, Everett. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else, we all rap regularly. Shout out to my dog Line in the building, Ryan in the building. Shout out to everybody in the chat, Kev. I see all y'all, Trey in the building. I see all y'all, man, Malik. And we're gonna catch y'all on the next one. Me and L, we're gonna try to do these weekly, man. We appreciate all y'all support. We out. Wait a minute, L. Tell the people where they can
Yo.
find your show.
Oh man, y'all catch me on the Pels and the Blender on the YouTube, man. We live. Y'all all will catch the Chaz on his YouTube and whatnot too. And again, man, and we do the fan line, but we probably gonna transition from the fan line to these spaces. So make sure y'all hit those up, you dig, follow and whatnot. And then again, man, if y'all ever want to engage, don't be shy to request to speak either if it's on my show or in the spaces right now, you dig? So we always looking for opportunities to give everybody else a voice too.
Yes, indeed, man. Yes, indeed. Much love for everybody, man. Y'all be safe, and we gonna holler at y'all. Peace.